Maniac Mondays, says Daniel Fisher, and I couldn't agree more.
What did you say? Because that's what Daniel Fisher said.
Manic,
Yeah.
Maniac, all the same.
What's going on, Daniel Fisher? Thank you for waiting for us patiently.
When was
Shout
the
out.
last time we did a Monday stream?
It has been a very long time. I will
It's
say
been a
it.
long time.
I'm not mad at Mondays.
No, it's fine.
I'm not mad at Mondays.
It's fine. Worked out. It worked out just fine.
How are you doing?
I'm hanging in there. Going to see Beast Wars tomorrow, so that is looking forward to that. We
I,
hadn't, so I'm assuming you saw it.
yeah.
That's good. That's a good sign right there. I like that reaction.
I was going to say something about it today, but I will wait.
Yep. Going tomorrow.
Um,
What you got going on?
life is lifing.
Life is lifing.
Schooling. I know I told you, but I haven't told the world that I'm like back in school. I'm getting a certification through Coursera, through Google, and I'm back in school for real. Like I wasn't expecting it to feel like school. Ain't nothing but a little certificate.
That's what's up.
I apologize, Google, for disrespecting you prematurely because that's exactly what it was, disrespect. And I'm getting it together.
Ooh, hold on. Had a little. So I had the stream open on another tab, and
Oh,
like the feed, I didn't have it muted, and like my the audio was just going all over the place. It was double. I was confused. Now I'm back on track. I'm caught up. It's like it was kind of like Inception. It's like I was hearing you, but then I was hearing you again, and I didn't know which version of you was like in real time.
wow, multiverse. This is what we're
Yeah,
here to talk about today.
it is. What a great segue into
Um,
the Flash.
I want to give a little disclaimer because I know that you and I have very different opinions of this movie.
Hmm.
I think we do. I
Safe assumption.
didn't hate it. In fact, I enjoyed it and I would watch it again. Like I look forward to it coming out on HBO so that I can watch it again because I want to see it again. Do I want to go to the theater and see it? No. But I would absolutely sit and watch it from beginning to end again.
I wouldn't go to a theater to see it again. I don't think I wouldn't say I necessarily hated it because I've had a lot of time to think about this now. I
Mhm.
hated the first half of the movie. I thought the first half of the movie was almost completely pointless. Uh,
Up to what point?
up
What's
till okay, so to me, the movie doesn't happen until we get to uh, Supergirl,
okay?
Superwoman. That literally that is the movie. And then like everything before that, it was like, why I get that you're trying to build the relationship between Barry and the family and the mom and the dad, but I guess it's because I partially having seen this play out on the Flash TV show with a different actor that I really like as the Flash and someone who I don't necessarily like as much as Flash, nor do I like how I don't think I don't find him funny at all. I don't think I don't know if it's him or if it's the writing or a combination of both. It's probably a combination of both, but it just does not land for me. Like nothing about that the quirky humor that they try with his character works for me, and I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's writing or I don't know if it's him. Um, but like the story itself actually does get good once we get to Supergirl because like I was like more interested in that storyline than what everything that was happening in the Flash. Then on top of that, I remember like they were talking about how this movie like resets the DCEU and they can springboard off of it and do anything that they want to. And I'm like, how did they come to that conclusion? Because this is like, if anything, it just makes the whole thing messier.
I would like to say that that announcement was the worst thing James Gunn could have done. He could have absolutely announced his future lineup, his vision for what he wants the DCEU to be, but he did not have to say that the Flash is resetting everything. He could have just let the movie come out and let us draw that conclusion, right? But now we had an expectation for something that we now don't see how that can come to fruition. Like how are we going to get from what we got to what he explained? And I will also say I did not watch the CW show. I wasn't interested really in the CW DC shows until Black Lightning. And then they only had me for about 5 episodes before I got mad and I was like, I'm not watching this again. Y'all lost me. I'm not coming back. So my opinion is only that of the Barry Allen from the DCEU played by Ezra Miller.
Oh, that is unfortunate. Like that is okay. So like it's almost like the complete opposite of the spectrum for me as far as like it's the CW writing that really holds the show back, but of the DC shows, that the Flash is the best one, hands down.
That's the one that was running the longest, right?
Yeah, like I think it just ended this year. It's worth watching anytime you if you like within like the first couple episodes, you'll see why everybody loves that Flash over this Ezra Miller Flash. He is a better Barry Allen than Ezra Miller is, like hands down. Like he's still quirky, he's still kind of goofy, but he's also got a like coolness and a swagger about him that is like it's relatable. Like they don't go overboard with the goofiness.
9 seasons?
Yeah, it's not. I'm not saying you got to watch all of it. I'm
not. It's not gonna happen. If the Clone Wars took forever, that's gonna take 8 years.
I haven't seen all of the Flash seasons. Of what I have seen, like it's the best show. It still didn't hold me to watch it all the way through, but of all the CW DC shows, it's the best show, and it held my attention for the longest. Then it starts getting into some weird stuff where they start like I stopped watching. I don't know what season it is, but when they started doing crossovers with all the other DCEU shows that I hated, and they're doing like time jumps and things are happening in other shows with characters in the Flash off screen, and now I got to go rewatch like all of 3 seasons of another show just to understand where the season is picking up, and like that's where I was like, I can't do this because now it's way too intertwined. Like now I have to see these other shows to understand what's happening in at the beginning of a season where you leave off understanding the story, and then the new season starts and like they time jump like 2 years and a whole bunch of crap has happened and people and places are different than where they ended in the previous season, and it was like, okay, this is too much. Not that invested. But yeah. So and that's the point that I stopped. I don't know what season it was, but it may be the season 3 or 4. Like I didn't make it that far. I'm completely frank with you.
So I'll say I did not hate the Barry Allen in this movie. In fact, I liked him better than before. And I'm talking about the older version. The younger version was very annoying and reminded me a lot like the Barry Allen that we first saw in the Justice League. Is that the first time we saw him?
Yeah,
I think so.
In the Whedon version.
But the fact that we get now an older, more seasoned, maybe even you want to call him a veteran now, Flash, who I didn't dislike the amount of humor they gave him, and also seeing him and younger Barry on screen at the same time made him seem more mature, which I appreciated. So I enjoyed him. I genuinely did. I don't have many notes for the performance, but like I said, I only have this to judge, so I can't compare him to anything else.
That's understandable. Like, okay, so to that point, I agree. As far as the 2 versions of the Flash we have on screen, the older one is the better version. He's more tolerable, and if that was the only version of the Flash that I had to tolerate, I think maybe I would have liked it a little bit more. But even still, it's that it the opening with the babies falling out the hospital and all that whole like it was. I'm thinking about like how poorly executed that entire sequence was in comparison to like Days of Future Past or the X-Men with um I keep wanting to say Silver Surfer. Uh Quicksilver
Mm.
with those speed sequences because you remember when he's like running through the X mansion and saving
And
everybody.
saving everybody.
Such way better execution. And it had goofy stuff in you know like cheesy humor things in there, but it was funny. Like it was actually like enjoyable to watch. Whereas this was just like, yo, this is way too stupid. Like I cannot deal with this. And we're starting the movie off this way, and I'm just like,
Yeah.
oh, I'm already like off put.
So what I'll say is the CGI was so bad it made it difficult to watch.
Oh yeah,
I will say
I'm
that
having
about the movie to the point where I didn't dislike that scene. Um, if anything, it made me understand something about Barry's power because I never considered before then, you know, the way and like how to move a baby around. Although I don't think they did a good job of explaining that because that scene didn't explain that to me. It was when Barry was explaining to younger Barry that you can't just move things. Like he was like, you can't just, you know, move a baby quickly. Or like when younger Barry moved older Barry and older Barry got sick immediately. So, you know, I'll say there was some information lost in translation. Those scenes were a little too far apart to understand. But the CGI, I would say, is what gets the negative marks in the movie for me. Um, and
and
at this
see
point,
that's just to just tag on to that, like that's where the Flash TV show actually helps because like that whole first season is like they dive a lot into the science of how the speed works and the speed force and a lot of these things that they kind of have to explain in a concise format that they don't really do. I didn't think they did all that well of a job of in this movie, given that we hadn't gotten the origin story for Flash on the big screen yet. The TV show actually does do a lot of that, and I think it does it better
I
than
agree.
how
They could have used a lot of the scenes and the jokey scenes between Barry and younger Barry to explain that. Like the fact that younger Barry, in a way, was stupid. Although I think it might be realistic, right? Losing a parent would absolutely change someone's trajectory in life. And the fact that he had both parents allowed him the opportunity to be dumb, if that makes sense. But I don't like that. He should have wanted to know about the science. Like I think I would have appreciated that. He could still be goofy with, and they still explain that. I do want to go back to the CGI at this point, and this is for all superhero movies. Period. We have to expect better art wise. Just there's no reason, and a as a fan of these films, I would rather wait 2-3 years to get a movie rather than get 18 movies and 16 shows within the same year and all of the artwork be lackluster. Why does it look like a video game? I felt like I was
it
watching the
looks
Mortal Kombat trailers.
it looks worse in many regards. Like it's because it detracts from the overall story when it doesn't flow well into the story. Like it looks rushed, it looks unfinished, it looks unpolished. And yeah, like it's or like rely less on it, like use it more strategically. Like if you don't have the budget for the large scale CGI work that you're going to need, tone it down. Like rely less on it. Like go, you know, be minimal. Like make it impactful. Uh, I don't like I don't like how they use the slow motion in his running sequences because his running form is horrible. Just like
I'm like,
as a as
is
a
that how
sprinter,
CW?
like that is it looks horrible. No, and it no CW's looks like it's not like Olympic sprinter type of form, but it looks fast. You know, like it looks it's good enough. It's like, oh, he can actually run. Like Ezra doesn't he looks like he doesn't know how to run. Like I'm not even talking about being able to run fast. Like just understanding how the motion of and the mechanics of sprinting are. He has no concept of it, and when you slow it down, it looks even worse. It looks even worse, and it just bothers me. It bothers me.
I think you know those virtual reality setups where like they put the people on.
That's yeah, with like a treadmill.
Yes, and but
That's
it's
what it
like
looks
smooth
like.
and curved on the bottom. I
Yes,
genuinely think that when he's starting his running scenes, they have him in something like that. The way his feet move look like he's on one of those things because they're kind of concave, convex, whichever one it is. It's
right.
deep. It's not like running on a flat surface.
So, oh, okay. Now, in comparison to the CW one, which is why it works, his limbs are blurred. They're motion blurred, so you can't see how his form is because it's really just his head and his torso that you can really see because they're as a sprinter they should be kind of stable and like all your motion is coming from your arms and your legs, so it looks like more of a natural running form because it's like they using the CGI effectively.
That's
Yeah, like it's horrible and it's like what is this like it's I don't know. The CW version, the side he feels more like Peter Parker. Not like his IQ and his like where his quirkiness comes through. Like you know how Peter Parker can be like a little quirky, but he's smart, but he still has a little bit of swagger that it's like it's like, oh, that's kind of cute.
mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's kind of like
More
CW
like Tobey
Flash.
Maguire, Peter Parker.
Yeah, I would say like somewhere between um I would say, yeah, like a nice blend of Toby and Tom Holland type of like where Tom has got like that quick wit. Like he actually is kind of witty in the CW, not like that, but like he's a little bit more witty than Toby is. But he's smart, like he can figure stuff out, and he has a very good understanding of of how the science of his powers work, but he still has to train and he still has to learn. Like he does. Like there are some goofy things that happen, but it's easier to watch than this was. Much easier to watch.
I
I
think
would encourage you to like watch like a couple episodes of season one.
I haven't even started The Bear, and that's making me angry. So I cannot commit to anything, but maybe I'll think about it. I will consider considering it. I will.
That's fair. That's fair. I wouldn't subject anybody to watch the entire show because it's like a lot. Like it's very difficult to watch CW
Just
DC. It's very hard. It's not easy.
Black Light.
Um,
Oh, just I tried to enjoy it.
yeah, it's hard. It's not
Daniel,
easy.
don't say anything. I've not started season 2 at all, and I'm very unhappy about it. By the way, if y'all have not watched The Bear, it's on Hulu and it's fantastic. I highly recommend.
Now to the good stuff. Unless you've got something, because I do. There are some like shining moments in that I kind of want to highlight because I don't want to
Yes, we can
completely
talk about this.
100%
I
bash it.
think I just want to say I think what hurt this movie more than anything is James Gunn's little speech
Mhm.
about how nothing's gonna count, the gross lack of promotion. Like I can understand you don't want to put Ezra Miller in front of reporters, but everybody else on the cast should have been. Sorry, not sorry. There's no reason. I keep having a brain fart. What's the name of the dude who played Batman?
Oh, Michael Keaton.
He should have been interviewed everywhere by everybody. We already knew he was in the movie. Why wasn't he?
Yeah,
I
and
just
then
I don't
and then
understand.
the girl who played Superwoman. Like
Just,
why wasn't she like? Because she was literally the star of the show for me. Like
I mean, Like, even if they want to avoid Ezra Miller questions, what, they don't know him like that, or even if they do, lie. Just say, "Oh, I ain't got nothing to do with me. Sorry, but I play Supergirl." That was important to this movie. And the CGI. If they just fixed the CGI, James Gunn didn't say that nonsense, and there was better promotion for this film, I think a lot of people's overall opinions would be better. I'm not saying the film as a whole would have been much better, but we would have went into the film expecting something better than, because I think a lot of people were possibly thinking negative things. I mean, we knew before the movie started that it wasn't going to count. That stinks. And then also, they treated the movie like it wasn't going to count. That budget for the CGI, I'm sure it went down over time. And at some point, they were like, do whatever is cheap, because that's how it looked. But
Yeah.
the good stuff,
it's Superwoman. Like, it's literally the best part of this movie, hands down. Like, I can't even. It's not even.
That's
It's
what
not
you're
even
gonna
close.
say?
Yeah, it's hands down. Hands down.
The 0.2 seconds she was in the movie is the best part of the movie.
It's literally the best part of the movie. There's nothing else worth watching. Like, she actually has a legitimate, like, cool story in this. Like, I was like, yo, why didn't they just make a movie about this? That whole plot was cool. Like, an alternate reality telling of the first Superman movie of Cavill Superman. Man of Steel, like, alternate, like, timeline. That was great. I was like, give me that movie. Like, what? Take Flash out, and like that whole plot of Kal-El being killed by Zod, and she's the one who ended up making it to Earth. And then,
Did you mean Supergirl?
yeah,
You said Superwoman, and my brain thought you meant Wonder Woman. So I thought you were talking about that little 2 seconds she was in the movie.
oh no,
Okay, you meant Supergirl, because she's
Yeah,
Supergirl, not Superwoman, right?
Supergirl, Superwoman. I don't know. I feel like I feel like she mean she's like an adult, so she should be Superwoman, right?
Okay,
I don't know. Whatever.
but okay, yes,
Tomato, tomato.
I feel better
But
now.
yeah, she's the best part of the movie.
No,
Like that whole that her plot line is the only story point in this movie. There is nothing else from a story standpoint in this movie, like, other than her arc.
I don't disagree. I wish, in fact, we got to see more of her. It sucks that we only really get to see her have one really good action sequence, and then we get to watch her die a few times. So that sucked. My favorite part of the movie was,
Yeah, that's I hated that. Like, I was like, she's got the most compelling story point, and y'all keep killing her over and over again, and I have to watch her die over and over again. And like, literally, the only part of this movie that I care about, like, and nothing else in this story even. No, yeah, I was like, I didn't like that. Wasn't a fan.
Team, I do not think the movie is trash.
I thought it was, but he can tell by my tone that I didn't.
Yes, I didn't think the movie was trash. My favorite part of the movie was the Nicolas Cage Superman fighting Spider.
Yeah, do you know the lore behind that though?
Yes.
Yeah, Death of Superman Lives.
Excited.
That was also a highlight for me, because it was like, wow, they really paid homage to that. Because
when I saw the little timeline bubbles, the little universe spheres, and I said they're gonna do it, and they did it.
I was shocked. That legitimately shocked me that they had that in there.
I was extremely surprised, and I was very happy that they put it in there. That was lit. For those who don't know, there was a Superman movie that was written and never made, starring Nicolas Cage, where he does not fly and fights a spider. That's the movie. That's what the movie was supposed to be, and of course, it was not made because that sounds stupid. There were, who was it supposed to be? Tim Burton?
Yeah, it was Tim Burton. Tim Burton directed it. Like, it was there's a documentary by the late John Schnepp about that whole thing. It's called The Death of Superman Lives, What Happened. Like, and it documents everything that happened behind the scenes leading up to, like, I think they were like a few weeks out from shooting when it got canceled, or they were like it was a last minute cancellation of the project. Like, it's a long story, but it's got a cult following. A lot of people are interested in once they found out that this was a thing that was going to happen, and it got canceled. A lot of people were interested in seeing it come to fruition. So it was kind of cool for them to see. And I like me knowing about it, like I was like, oh, that's pretty cool that they threw that in there. They didn't have to do that. Like, everybody except for was Cavill in the movie?
You saw his back. We never saw his face.
Yeah, he wasn't in the movie.
I didn't think so.
Every version of Superman, even one that never happened, was in the movie except for Cavill. It's a shame.
A damn shame.
It's a damn shame.
Side note, that story was always so wild to me. I've always been like, a Nicolas Cage Superman movie sounds nuts, and I don't want it. But
and it's a Tim Burton movie.
Yeah, Tim Burton part makes it up, but I'm not gonna lie, that looked kind of cool. That looked really cool.
If it were going to be
Spider,
if it were going to be told like that, yeah, because it looked very dark and grungy, and like it kind of looked like The Crow. Like if it were like a dark version of Superman, like very like dystopian and just yeah, like yeah, it could have been interesting just based on like how it was directed and the like, because I mean, I'm not saying that that's like it does not sound like a great plot, but seeing that little sequence of him fighting this massive like spider shooting nuclear laser beams out of its eyes, and like I'm like, I don't know what the hell's going on, but I was like, this is kind of interesting. It was more interesting than the movie was.
The theater I was in was and the entire theater was very surprised and also excited to see that. That was the highlight. That and the ending were pretty big.
Oh, my theater wasn't packed at all. There was nobody in there. And I have to just, I have to also represent JPM because I know he hated this movie. Like, so I have to be a little extra saucy for him, in honor of Cuzzo, because I know he hated this movie. I saw it. Like part of my enjoyment of the movie was knowing how much he hated this movie. Like while I was watching it, I was like, I knew every single point in this movie where he was like literally about to blow a gasket. And it made me laugh a little bit. It's like it made it easier for me to watch the whole thing.
I walked out of the theater knowing that y'all would not be happy.
Oh man, it was that movie. It was terrible.
Absolutely, the Captain's Log. Yes.
Yeah.
That's what he would have said.
For sure.
And my last mini highlight was the very ending. I was very happy that they were able to keep that a secret. I feel like there were two things that they kept. Also, if they weren't going to have the woman who played Kara do any interviews, they could have kept her a secret. They could have, if they were not going to let these people do any interviews, they could have kept them a secret. I think also made it more enjoyable. Since they told us about them, since we knew about them, maybe
like her lack of visibility made it feel like her performance was trash. Like they were like, oh, we don't want to highlight her, and I'm like, yo, she's like, this was great.
It's quite literally a movie that they just tried to push out and forget about. You could tell that's how it was treated. They didn't want to spend any money on press, so let's just not.
We've spent way too much money on this movie. We're like several $1 million in debt. Let's just push it out and see if we can recoup any of these funds. That's how this movie felt. I 100% agree with you.
They shouldn't have even had Ezra at the
for what? You keep him out of the press for a year or two leading up to this movie, and then on the premiere day, at the end, you roll him out. You let him out the closet. Like it's like, yo, come on, bro. Like you let him out his cage. Like, come on, man. Like this is that was a sign right there. It was like, oh, this is not good.
And what bothers me is I don't think the movie is as bad as it was being treated by DC. Like it could have been an enjoyable film. We could have been happier about it. Like think about it. If the CGI was better, if James Gunn didn't make that stupid speech, and if they did more press, I think overall it would have been received better. I'm not saying the movie would have been the best movie since sliced bread, but it would have been received better. We would have been more excited about it. Like
Yeah.
before the movie started, we knew everything that we were going to see isn't going to matter. It's just going to be after. So now we're expecting every movie that's coming after this to be better. Although, if you're as deep of a fan as we are, you should be questioning what's going on in Aquaman. Because although it's coming out after The Flash, we know it was written and partially filmed before the James Gunn takeover. So, how much of that movie are we really expecting to be good, or at least a part of the story, or even like, is it a conclusion to this Aquaman? We don't know.
Yeah, it's very difficult, honestly, especially after the Snyder cut of Justice League and how much different everything played out in that story. And then there was a part where he runs backwards in time, and he is like, "Oh, this is the first time like he's never done this before," and I'm like, "What are you talking about?" And I was like, "Oh my." And I was like, "Oh, that's not even canon." Oh my goodness. And it made me hate the movie even more.
It was doomed from the jump, and it didn't have to be. That's my issue with the movie. And I don't even think it's a hill worth dying on, but I'm on top of it standing there like this. My arms folded. I'm not dying on it though, but like this, because it didn't have to be like this.
Yeah,
hell, Blue Beetle is about to come out. I'm nervous about Blue Beetle. Blue Beetle, it's in the same category.
Yeah, I agree with you. I agree with you. I don't know where it is. What's it? How important is it? Is it going to play into the future of DC? Is it a part of the new DCU? Like, I don't understand. I don't know. I don't know what's going on.
Like this, the first Latino hero, right, to have his own film.
Yeah, to be the lead. Yeah.
And we already know that DC doesn't care about it before it came out. That sucks. That's awful. I'm going to see it. I want to see it. I'm going to enjoy it.
I'm interested in seeing it too. I'm just like, it's like, but does it matter to the creator? Like, are they just gonna, like, is this part of James Gunn's like future for DC, or is that still like to be decided? I don't know, man. I don't know.
After seeing this, after seeing how they treated it, I will say this: I have seen a lot. So I've seen almost every movie that's come out recently. Shout out to Regal. I got that pass. You see all the movies for $25 a month. So I've seen everything. That Blue Beetle trailer is in front of every single movie. So they're not, and I've seen it on TV several times. So they're doing something.
Yeah.
I will give them that. I haven't seen too many interviews yet, but I think we have another week or 2 or 3 before the movie comes out. So hopefully.
Oh, is it that soon?
I hope it ain't Friday. I haven't seen.
I thought it was like I thought it had like a November, December release date.
Oh, really? That makes me feel better then. If it's getting this much promotion now and it's coming out then I'm not.
Let me research, but I thought it was later. If it's sooner than this.
I assume that it was soon. It comes out August 18th, bro.
Oh, well, I mean, still, it's a little ways out.
Yeah, that's definitely not 3 weeks. So I'll say this, then that gives them a little bit more time. I want to see. I want them to care. I want to see George Lopez on Good Morning America.
Yeah, I mean, I don't expect that press run to start up till the first week of August, really.
It just needs to happen. And if it does not happen, they're setting a tone. But I will say this, continuing.
That means that they cut the marketing budget for it, because if they don't ramp up in August, and they are not planning on promoting this at all heavy.
And here's where this is going to backfire on them. They've now had 2 movies come out, or even some people might even include Black Adam, Shazam, The Flash, and then if Blue Beetle doesn't get good support and it doesn't get, rave reviews, that's 4 films back to back to back that were lackluster. People are not happy with them. And we know we're excited we're looking forward to the new James Gunn projects. We know that they're going to be treated a little bit nicer. We know that, we can hope so. Let's say that. We can hope there's some thought put into them, and at least we're going to go into the first movie with open mind and stuff, right? Like I expect the Amanda Waller show to be good, because Peacemaker was good. Whoever was in charge of Peacemaker, they need to put them in charge of the Amanda Waller show. Just slide them right on over, because Peacemaker was fantastic. So I'm giving them the benefit of the doubt there. But you can't just make a whole bunch of bad movies, not promote them, put them out, and then expect everybody to support your next thing.
I will reserve. I will wait and see. I am in a wait and see. I'm not. I don't have like. I'll say I don't have expectations. Just same thing. Same thing with the Batman. I was pleasantly surprised by the Batman. I want to go and feel that type of, have that type of experience again for another DC movie, like I did with the Batman, because the Batman was like fantastic, completely, absolutely amazing. 10 out of 10.
I was always excited for the Batman. I watched Twilight. I was going to see the Batman, and I was going to enjoy it no matter what they gave it.
And like the thing is, that tone is so much better than everything we've gotten. Like that's exactly what DC should feel like. Like Man of Steel, the Batman, the Nolan movies, like those. That's like literally how DC should move. Like that's what those movies should feel like. It should be like that or dark. And the Snyder cut of Justice League. That's the tone of it. Like that's how it should be. Darker. The levity should be more adult and serious than Marvel. It cannot be as goofy as Marvel. Like Marvel is just, it's way more like lighthearted, but it executes goofiness a lot better than DC does, because it doesn't work with characters. It doesn't work with characters. DC has far more serious and like adult characters than Marvel does.
I don't disagree.
We've said that like every single time a bad DC movie comes out. Like we've said this like repeatedly for like the 3 years we've been on live streaming content for all of these movies and TV shows. Every single time.
Not to make such an abrupt segue to Secret Invasion, but this humorous, lighthearted tone for the Marvel movies is also starting to get old.
Yes.
And we don't want it anymore.
No. Nope.
Right? We're excited for Deadpool.
We want variety. We want we want. I'm not saying no to it, but don't overload my plate with it. Like
I'm saying no to it. Imani is saying no to it. We've had a lot of fun, and it's time to get serious. It really is.
Or find better writers that can, that understand how to execute that a little bit better. Or in actors and writers, like there probably needs to be a little bit more collaboration between the two. Like, right, once you've cast an actor or actress, understand like how where's the humor, like kind of gauge, and I guess I don't know. Anyway, I less is more. That's all. I'll put it that way. Less is more. Less is more.
Secret Invasion. Episode 1 is out. Rated 1 through 10.
10. So 7.5.
I'm gonna give it an 8.
I can see an 8. It was pretty good. It's a good start. I felt like it was a good start.
I don't have any arguments. I'm not gonna give it a 10 because we got 5 episodes to go, but yeah. I'm giving it an 8 because it was really good and I enjoyed it, and I was upset that it ended. I wanted it to continue. That's my judgment whether or not something is great. If I need the next episode now, and I'm pissed because all of these other shows, they've been releasing 2 and 3 episodes, and now the time I really want at least 2 episodes, they don't give it to me.
You know what was kind of interesting about it was like I just rewatched Andor, which every time I watch that, it's like it gets better. I love that show. That show is freaking amazing. This, comparing the two, there are a lot of there's a lot that they could learn from Andor and inject into this story, which I don't think they did. I don't want to hold it to that light because I don't think that's fair. But if they do more spy drama type shows in the future, if they're going to do some more with Nick Fury, like give me like Andor level drama, like because that's you put that in Marvel and like you could have like a whole like resurgence and it could rejuvenate the fan base.
I completely agree. I also feel that the Nicholas.
Dang, you use this whole government.
I was about to say Nicholas Cage. I was mixing up Nicholas Fury when I really wanted to say Samuel Jackson. Any
That's wild.
um I don't find him funny. Just in general as an actor, when he does something that's more comedic, I struggle. Like Shaft, I wasn't a huge fan of. The Hitman's Bodyguard and then the Hitman's Wife's Bodyguard's wife. I enjoyed the movies, but not for his comedic parts. To me, Samuel Jackson is always going to give Mace Windu energy. He's always going to be, I'm sick and tired of these on this plane. That's who he is, right? So to see him in a show like this was a lot more serious. There's serious things happening, more serious, or at least the Earth is in danger in every single Marvel movie. But I feel like they do a better job of communicating it here. Like they're trying to wipe us out, right? Even Thanos wasn't trying to get rid of all of us. So I do appreciate how serious this is, and I think that's why I like it better.
Yeah, I feel like it sets a good baseline, but it can go up or down from here. Like I agree with you what you said earlier about like not wanting to give it a 10 because like we literally don't know how this is going to turn out. It could be a WandaVision type of scenario, knock on wood. But like
Because
it's
we're not going to do the most like we did last time. We are not
I
going to.
mean, but even still, like it I hope that the tone that they've set they continue to build on to where it gets like the drama like it ended on a very serious and dark note. Like it needs to continue down this path and I would love to see like uh an uncertain ending to the series. Like where I would love that. Like I would love to have an ending that was a bit mysterious or we really don't know what the outcome it is. Like we don't know what the outcome like what the hopefully the payoff is something that we see down the road or sets up another season or something but like I don't feel like a definitive conclusion to this series would serve the story because it's too big of a plot to end in 6 episodes. That's how I feel about
I mean, well, we know there's there's a Avengers movie in the works, possibly.
it.
Heavy on the possibly. So I'm not opposed to it ending open ended. Leave it up to us to think about until the next thing. I am more. So I'm on the fence here. I feel like the show was trying to project that Nick Fury is washed. He's older, he's not as stable, and he's not prepared. And at first I didn't feel this way. At first I thought, it's intentional that they are trying to show us that the world is doubting him. Right? You had the woman in the red snatch him up by her people. Meanwhile, we know he went out there to get snatched up. He knew by showing his face something would happen. But then by the end of the show, we see Maria dying. I am starting to believe that this is a fight he is not prepared for. I genuinely question whether he can do this on his own. He might need some help. I will say also the who the help is going to determine how we feel about
Mhm.
it though. If they pull in the wrong people for help, we might not like it.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. I mean, it feels like we've already seen it's going to be Rhodey and um with the spy that Martin Freeman plays, the Skrull had intimidated him, or imitated his
I
popular form.
I don't think so, because when we saw him on screen, I
Ross,
was
yeah.
like, "Ain't he in Wakanda?" I was instantly like, "What
I'm
is
like,
he?"
I don't know where he is
He
in the time period.
in
Because
my
where are
opinion,
we?
he
Where
should
are
not
we?
have been walking around Moscow. This has to be post Black Panther 2. If this is not post Wakanda Forever, I'm gonna have an attitude, because I'm sick and tired of all the back and forth. You can't be putting out movies years apart and having us go back.
I
So I'm
agree.
gonna
And
pray
like, but
it's post.
time wise, where is that in relation to um Falcon and the Winter Soldier? Because I feel like this is like around the same time as Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
I mean, we know Falcon and the Winter Soldier is tough because they chopped it up because of the pandemic that was originally in the show. So,
So
and
I don't know where anything is in the timeline anymore. Like I really don't know. Like
but see,
I need Marvel to do like a whole, give me the Marvel YouTube channel needs to put out a timeline video that explains where everything sits. Like just give me a brief synopsis overview, because we're now getting into like multiversal events. I need a timeline. Like I think everybody needs a timeline. Like not, I don't know how and where everything fits into place. Um, and you can't expect everybody to know where and when everything falls into place. Next, there needs to be some sort of either embedded into the show somehow, or like create some content for us to help um, fit all of these things. Because the only thing that they do, to my knowledge, is tell us when these movies are coming out. Like we have a release timeline for when they come out, but we don't know within the canon where they take place, like where a lot of this content falls.
so according to what I just read, it takes place on the same timeline as Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, Guardians of the Galaxy.
That's another thing.
Hold on, I lost it. And ooh. Oh wait, hold on, I'm sorry. I lied. Freaking phone. I need a new phone so bad, y'all. I'm trying to ride out with my 10s Max until I can get a new phone in the fall, and it is not trying to hold out for me. Okay, it's on the same timeline as Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 and Black Panther: Wakanda Forever, which bothers me.
Like, but I don't like. Okay, that's cool, but how far after the blip are we?
5 years. But the problem is everything that's coming out right now is 5 years after the blip. So what
Yeah,
does
that's what I'm saying. Like, what's the order of these things? Like, I don't. They got to do something. They got to give us a timeline, a roadmap. Like the release time does not correlate with where they fall in a linear timeline. And now we're moving into non-linear timelines, into multiversal timelines. It's going to get way more confusing. So you may as well do it sooner rather than later. Like, give me a cohesive timeline that I can go, okay, here's the thread for these movies, here's the thread for these movies and TV shows, etc., etc. So I know where I'm at, because I like right now I'm lost. Like I don't know where we are in the timeline. Like this could be like has the events of Falcon and the Winter Soldier happened already, or have they not happened?
damn? I would hope so.
Has
Well,
Wanda when like did is this before or after WandaVision? Like,
it's definitely post WandaVision. WandaVision was 2 years post blip.
but do we know that?
We know for a fact that that's 2 years later. That WandaVision happened 2 years later, and we know this is 5 years after the blip. 5 years after everybody coming back.
Oh, so we're way out there.
Yes, this is 5 years post Iron Man snap.
So this is 10 years after Infinity War.
Damn.
That's what I'm saying. Like that's crazy. Like how we that's a long time. Like, and then we have to fill in all this timeline. That's funny.
A bowl of
Basically,
noodles. So, okay. Before I started thinking about this, I was a lot more excited, and I will say this kind of brought my mood down on the show. So, just ignoring the timeline stuff, I wanted to assume that Martin Freeman's character was in Wakanda. So I assumed the moment I saw him on screen, that's a scroll. Can't be him. So I don't know if that's intentional, but that's how I took it. So that's how I'm gonna continue going. So that being said, I don't know if we are going to see him at all because he may potentially be on Wakanda. And then, oh, side note, if at the same time as Wakanda Forever, his character knows there's a scroll invasion and he's just in Wakanda, that's a problem. That's a huge problem. So that's why I'm gonna
yeah.
say that he's in Wakanda right now, or at least this is post Wakanda Forever, and we know he's not safe and he can't just pop up anywhere. He can't just be in the United States. He was in Russia. Maybe he could be there. Maybe he could come there, but we know he's definitely not safe in the US of A. What are they talking about? Oh yes, that was a good analogy. We didn't talk about that. The bowl of noodles timeline.
Yes, that was actually a highlight of the movie for
And
sure.
and they were talking mad shit about Marvel in there. Excuse my language. He was like, "Yeah, I know you probably saw a movie where it was thin, it was branches. No, that's not how it works." That was kind of funny. That was kind of funny. All right, back to the scrolls. Yes, the captain's log. Everyone is a scroll until verified. I also believe, hands down, that when Nick Fury went for his walk, every single person he ran into was a scroll.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Bench,
Yeah,
scroll.
because once we saw,
At him, scroll.
it was probably the same person. It was probably the same scroll. Could have been because what's the guy? What's the Gaelic? Is that the
Mhm.
scroll? Yeah. I'm going to assume that the girl was him the whole time, but I wouldn't be surprised if all of the characters, all the scrolls that looked at him, Gravik, um, if all of those characters were him. But then that's way too much. Like he's just way too out and open. I don't know, but I know the girl was. Girl had to be because they. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't know.
You don't know what?
I'm because I me not knowing where this falls bothers me.
I'm not gonna let it bother me because there's 5 more episodes for it to tell me, and hopefully I figure it out by the end of it. I will say though, this is a huge problem that Marvel has. There's too many shows, too many movies happening with not enough explanation. No one's breaking it down
Did
besides us.
have
We don't know more than what they show us on screen.
have they explained Saber yet?
No.
Okay.
Okay, I was having a conversation. I told this to, I think I told this to my mom, definitely told my father this. The only way you can really understand what's going on with the scrolls in this movie is if you watched Captain Marvel and if you watched the post-credit scene from Far From Home.
Yeah.
If you did not watch a post-credit scene,
You
you
have
might
no
be
idea.
grossly out of the loop. Now, that's not to say that they may not still enjoy the show. A more casual fan who didn't watch all that could still enjoy it. Okay, they know there's some sort of invasion of people who are not supposed to be here. But where did Nick Fury come from? What? Because I just thought he was chilling up there. I didn't know he was up there working. I didn't know he was creating something in outer space. They just slid that in there.
Right. Like they changed the whole plot. Like it's like okay, I have a feeling that when they put it in there initially in that post credit scene, they had no idea what he was doing up there in the story.
I'm
I
not
think
mad
I
at
think now they know they have that a plot for him being up there. I'm sure they've had time to develop it, and we'll probably see more of it in this show. And then, of course, the Marvels, which is probably what it's connected to. But now we got to wait for the Marvels essentially to understand what Hell Saber is.
That sucks. Because how did Rhodey get into the White House?
That's what I'm saying. Like they
All
just
of these shows and movies they're
he's
making,
just in there. Like he was in there with well, I guess he had clearance before. I don't
why
know.
is he the
What is
president's
he
right-hand
doing?
man?
Yeah, what is he doing? Like where? Because he didn't survive the blip, did he?
He survived the blip. He was there. The 5 years. He was there.
He was okay. Was he in Endgame?
Yes.
That's crazy. Okay. Anyway,
I don't think he went with them because wasn't he still working? He definitely didn't get blipped, but he did not go. Like when they went to go get the stones, he didn't travel. He stayed.
They got to explain where he been, what he been doing this whole time too. Like I guess. Oh God, we got to wait for War Machine or whatever that movie, Iron something, whatever. There's another TV show with him.
Oh, Ironheart.
Ironheart, isn't he in that? No, he's got a no. They have. I think they've got the. He has a show.
It's too much. It's too
like
much.
that's what I'm saying. There's way too much going on. Armor Wars.
I'm not planning on talking negatively
Armor Wars. It's way too much going on. There are too many plots happening, and we have no timeline. And it's like, yo, I can't. I don't know what the hell's going on.
So the uncle was telling me, and I think I agree with this. Previously, the movies were all building up to Thanos, right? But now there's two huge things happening at the same time. There's Kang and there's Secret Wars. I don't know if there's much overlap there. If y'all know, then let me know in the comments. But as far as timelines and storylines, I assume those to be kind of separate, but they're working on them at the exact same time. We knew we were going to get the Kang movie before the Secret Invasion Avengers movie, right? So we have to get through Kang in order to get to the final battle with the Skrulls. That's if that is the case, there's too much happening right now.
And we haven't even, and then you have like all the WandaVision stuff.
We can't even pay attention.
Max, like you got all of that happening, and then you've got the Eternals, and you got Shang-Chi. Like,
where is the Celestial that popped out of the ocean?
When did that happen? Like, where is that in the timeline?
That should have destroyed the planet. Even if he didn't come all the way out, New York City should be underwater just from him partially popping out. There's too much happening here. Too much. And as a Marvel fan, and I was saying at this point, I think it's safe to call this an obsession, right? I've seen every single movie, I've seen every single show, and I have a freaking show on YouTube where I talk about all this stuff with my friends. So at this point, we can't say that I'm not a casual fan. It's an obsession now. I think about this regularly. I watch it. I don't miss anything. I go see the movies. If I'm not there on Thursday, then I'm there by Sunday. I don't know what's going on. So if I don't know what's going on, Joe Schmo is screwed. I think about things as far as like how can my mother or even my grandmother enjoy them because they like these movies too. I am very concerned about my mom being able to follow this stuff because she's not as deep in it as I am.
And it forces you to see all of this stuff. Like that's the problematic thing because it's like now you're starting to do things that you're lost immediately if you don't know what the hell's going on. Because it's like you can watch the first episode of Secret Invasion and be completely lost if you haven't seen Captain Marvel.
Or
because you don't like what they like. Where did the aliens come from? Because you have no idea that Skrulls even exist because they haven't been a thing. They've not been in anything other than Captain Marvel and that post-credit scene. And so like now you're coming into a series and like now there are aliens on Earth and you're like, when the hell did this happen? Like, yeah, I could totally see that. Like this is not they're in a tough spot.
They just casted Fantastic Four, which y'all know how I feel about that. And
And we don't know how they play in.
we still haven't gotten Blade. Mahershala Ali is going to drop out. Y'all have to believe that this man is sick and tired of this nonsense. I don't see that project happening. I would love to see it. I feel like that was probably the best casting decision they've made to date, and we still haven't seen it on screen. They announced it how long ago?
Well, that's the writer's strike is holding that
Well,
up.
even before the writer's strike, we weren't anywhere near it happening.
Oh yeah, we
They're
were.
working on the
Yeah. They were rewriting the script. They had a script. They
They
were
didn't-
almost going into production because I know a few people that left the show I was working on to work on Blade. Like that show was that movie was close to going into production. They were hiring people to work on that. So like it's closer than you think. But it's now delayed. I don't think he'll if he leaves, it's in bad shape.
So I'll say somebody who's on the outside who does not know when you know, it looks really bad to me.
Yeah.
It just does. It looks insanely bad. But I said that to say we know it's coming. We still haven't seen Moon Knight. Don't know what's going on with that. I figured that we would get maybe Blade. That's what I'm saying. I was thinking they were going to connect Moon Knight and Blade somehow. Exactly.
It's too many plots.
There's too many things happening. How long ago did Shang-Chi come out?
21, wasn't it? 22?
We should
No, it had to be 21. It had to be like, wasn't that like November, December 21?
That was a COVID release? Yeah, it was.
There was a COVID release.
Just thinking about how when they first started, how quickly we got sequels like from Iron Man 1 to Iron Man 2. If this was a bit of a reboot post Thanos, we should be hearing about Shang-Chi 2.
No mention. He hadn't been a part of any
nothing.
And like the thing is, like they tie him in with the Sorcerer Supreme, right? So you expect him to be tied in with all the stuff happening with Doctor Strange, but he's tied up with Wanda, and she's doing a whole bunch of Dark Dimension stuff, which is also somehow tied to Blade. And I don't know where that rabbit hole goes. And now that they're rewriting the script, like maybe there were connections that, maybe there weren't. Maybe they're going now. I don't know. Like, I don't know. I don't know.
Bowl of noodles.
Then we got I don't know. They got to figure some stuff out. They Marvel and DC are in the same boat right now.
Honestly, when I think about it right now, I think DC is better off.
DC has an easier path forward than Marvel does.
Yes.
That's for sure.
I forgot about the Agatha series. Like, what?
Yeah.
There's other things.
Too much going on. That's what I'm saying. This is what I remember. So, like earlier this year, I was saying this. I was like, "Yo, it's too much going on." Like, they have way too many things happening at the same time, and there are too many plots, too many timelines, too many. We got no direction as far as like how everything fits into place. This is the comparison I was making earlier this year about Star Wars and Marvel, and I was like, Marvel needs to take some notes from Star Wars because we got a lot of things happening on Star Wars front too, but we're not being bombarded with content on a regular basis. Like it's such a slow trickle but streamlined release cadence that Star Wars has right now that it's easier to follow. And so when something happens, something is released, you kind of have time to go, oh, well, where's this fall? When does this take place? Oh, you should watch this because it's related, but you can still watch it and not be like completely lost. Like you could watch Andor not having seen a lick of Star Wars in your life and still be able to follow that series.
Star Wars also does a really good job at making stories that you don't expect anything else from. Like, this was fantastic. They don't have to do anything else. And if I see this character again in another project one day, cool. That would absolutely excite me, but I'm not expecting it. Now, everything Marvel does, we are expecting follow-up for. Like, it just has to happen. Versus The Mandalorian, okay, we might get another season of The Mandalorian, but we are not expecting to see The Mandalorian in another project. If it happens, cool. If it doesn't, great. That's what The Mandalorian was for. We don't have that. Daniel Fisher, I'm sorry, I don't know anything about Feige's 10-year plan.
It's a hot mess.
Clearly,
it's a bowl of noodles. That's what it is. Like, I mean, to be completely fair, I agree with you a whole 100%. I said that like a while ago. Like, it's okay to do like that was part of the thing that I was saying about like they need to learn from Star Wars. Like, it's sometimes it's just cool to have a story where sometimes characters make sense to pop in. Right? Like, I just need a story that can be told across several mediums where certain characters may or may not appear. That's what Star Wars is doing, and that's what it's doing very well. Like, we know that, oh, this everything that's happening is post Return of the Jedi. These characters are all these things are happening in this time period in the galaxy, and they don't have to happen all at once at the same time in each other shows. Like, we can see Ahsoka pop into The Mandalorian for an entire episode and reveal that there's another thing that's happening that she has her own like mission for, and then she's gone. And now I'm like, well, where the hell she's going? Like, I'm curious to see about like what that is, and like I can't wait to see that. Oh, okay, let's jump back in time. Remember that movie, Rogue One? Well, here's a TV show with these characters that like also don't have any connection to any of the other legacy characters that we've seen, but you know where it fits in the timeline. Like, you know that this clearly takes place before that movie does, because you know what happens to them. But like, yeah, I mean, yeah, give me a solid, just what's the story being told? How many threads are coming off of this story? And give me a through line, because I don't right now I don't have a through line. I'm very confused. I got no through line.
Steve, he was talking about himself. I was like, who is Steve? I was about to ask. What you talking about you? We're not gonna beat you up. People got lives.
Yeah, I mean, you kind of missed the discussion, but we won't beat you up for it. If you want to beat yourself up, that's on you.
You could rewind.
You could rewind. Definitely. Throw a like on the video for sure, and then you watch it.
He's subscribed.
He's already subscribed. He's in the Discord. He's done everything. But yeah, I mean, that's
not the direction I was expecting the conversation to go in, and now I have an attitude that I wasn't planning on having tonight. I thought I was going to come in here and say, "Oh, that was nice. I'm really excited." R.I.P. Maria.
Yeah, I mean that is also true. And at the same time, they are in a predicament. So I don't know. I don't know.
I don't think I'm getting tired of that's been like a topic on the internet. Like, is there too many superhero films? I don't think the answer will ever be yes. We will always love heroes. I'm tired of the MCU. And
way too much stuff going on.
There's way too much going on, and it's confusing me. So,
yeah.
And now I'm a little bit more hopeful for the DCEU, which I don't think I've ever said.
See, okay, so here's where my hesitation with that also is, because they could fall in the same boat that Marvel is in right now. Like,
I agree.
They have zero through line. Like, you don't know what the hell the story is. Like, that we have a bunch of movies coming out and shows that are in the DCEU, but like, what is the story that is going to be told that all of these projects are tied to, connected to? Because if they're not tied together, then you have what we have right here with Marvel, like where you just got a whole bunch of things happening, bunch of plots that you may or may not care about, and there's no cohesion. And you might like certain things, you might not like other things, and like certain things might be good, like the Batman. You might like the new Superman stuff, or you may not. then you might get to the point where it's like, oh, these are two completely opposing styles of direction and storytelling. Like now we got to make a new Batman because now we need another Batman that fits more in line with the Superman story that we're telling. Like it could get very messy, and that's why I'm like, I don't know. Like I'll wait and see how that goes. It's a lot. Then you got to make a new Flash. Like we don't know what Wonder Woman's doing. Like we don't know if Gal Gadot is still interested in playing Wonder Woman. Like I don't know what the hell's going on. We don't know if Jason Momoa is like. I don't know. It's too many unknowns. Too many unknowns.
High key would look forward to them rebooting it all, which is kind of what he hinted to happening.
It would have to, but you, like I said, you still have all of these other movies that may or may not be connected to anything.
The Captain's Log, we don't know. We also don't have a guarantee that they will use one at all.
Yeah, we don't have any guarantees really. We know that they're making new content, and there's a new director, and there's a new creative director at the helm. That's not my fault. I didn't do anything.
That's why you late. Like, you don't know what's going on. Oh, hold on, not you. That's what happens when you're late. You have no idea what's going on. Coop didn't do it. I did it to myself.
Yeah. This is Marvel's fault. Marvel did this. It wasn't me. It wasn't me.
Actually, let's blame Disney.
Yeah, we can blame Disney.
It's all Disney's fault.
Blame the mouse for sure.
But Disney, if you hear this, hire me for something. I don't know for what. Something.
That's all I got for.
That's all I got too.
I got nothing else.
Side note, I saw The Blackening. If you are Black and you went to an HBCU, this movie was made with you in mind. If you did not go to an HBCU,
hilarious and very specific.
There were things that were so loud to me, but I will also say, if you are a Black person who went to a PWI, there's also some stuff in this movie for you too. If you're Black in general, you'll find it funny. But I will also say that there were more white people in the theater that I was in than Black people, and they had themselves a time. So it was worth watching. Black actors, Black directors, Black creators, Black everything. It was, I'm not going to call it bad because the movie was not bad, but you could tell that the budget was low. And that being said, they already made the budget back and then some, which I'm very happy about. And I really do hope that they'll get the opportunity to make a sequel. I pray for that. I want that. It was worth seeing. So I just wanted to put that out there. The Blackening. Did I find it scary? No. Side note, they showed a trailer for The Nun before The Blackening. The Nun 2, like they're making another one. Scariest thing I've seen all year. Just the trailer scared the mess out of me in theater. So anyway.
I haven't seen that trailer yet. I guess it's with that movie. They wouldn't put it in front of what I've they would.
They're only going to put that in front of
horror.
Maybe we'll see it in front of Oppenheimer. Maybe.
That's a possibility.
But it scared me in the theater. So it would have to be like they can't drop that in front of just any movie.
Too many kids in there. It's got to be It probably What is The Blackening R-rated?
I think so. I would hope so.
Yeah, so that's probably why it's R-rated. They'll put it in front of anything that's rated R because they know there's no kids in there, or there shouldn't be any kids in there. There are definitely going to be kids. But anyway,
thank y'all for watching.
Yes. Oh yeah, I saw The Extraction and The Extraction 2. Fantastic.
Very, very good.
Exciting. I don't know about it being better than John Wick as it was implied in Discord, but it was definitely good. Definitely I'm pretty, I don't know if JBN was being serious or not, but he definitely said that in Discord, which prompted me to watch it because I was like, "There's no way," and it wasn't, but it was definitely up there.
Before we
sure.
go, I forgot about like exactly what happened in Extraction 1. I saw it literally when it came out and I never watched it again. So I rewatched the last 20 minutes before I put on Extraction 2. I forgot how violent it was.
Oh yeah,
Like I would say it's more violent than John Wick in a way. That's where I'll put the violence level. Like not the gore.
it's
The
gore.
level of
Yeah,
gore that they'll show is
yeah.
John Wick is more violent. Extraction is more gory. They are going to show you more. There's a lot of shock value in that movie, and the second one did not disappoint. But also, I need him to take a break.
All I know is like it just made me even more disappointed with how they've handled Thor so far because he is such a great action actor, and he could have been like give him a good worthy Thor script for once. Take the humor out of it.
Thor Noir.
I mean, that's what
Noir.
Give me some give me something serious, man. Give me worthy. But anyway, that's all I've got for now. Going to see Beast Wars tomorrow. So our next stream, that might be one of the topics. At least it'll be worth mentioning. Hopefully, yes. I'm looking forward to it because it's a definitely a childhood memory watching those cartoons on the weekends. Dang, remember those days? It's like, oh, only certain cartoons you could watch on the weekends. Man, we're that old. That's not even a thing anymore. Like you can just watch cartoons anytime.
I did not watch Beast Wars, so we can look forward to maybe us having very different opinions on the movie because you'll have a little bit extra something to.
Now Transformers and Beast Wars are completely different, but they are related. But they're CGI was not what it should have been for Beast Wars to be as like I know for a fact if I watched Beast Wars now, I would hate it. It's because I remember it looking terrible when I watched it.
I might have to check it out.
It was
I have
bad.
no comment for anything that you're saying.
It's bad. It's like it's early like 3D CG. It's bad.
Oh,
it's bad.
Oh, this was like the YouTube videos of the Halo characters that be fighting and arguing with each other.
Yes, but the toys are fire. The action figures are amazing. Well, yeah, take us out.
Oh, thank you for watching. As always, please follow us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and Twitch at Certified Gumbo. Please like this video and subscribe to our channel and turn on those notifications if you have not already. Please join us on Discord. The link is in the description bar down below. We talk about this stuff all day, every day. There's clearly an extraction conversation happening that I need to get into. And please buy us some coffee to help we keep the lights on.
Yep, and I think that's everything. So yeah, as I always say, peace, love, blessings, and may the force be with you always.